Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Great to be here diving into another topic. And today's Deep Dive is a really special one. It was actually custom tailored for you, Nova, listening in Kansas City. We hear you're a huge PlayStation fan. So, Nova, this one is definitely for you. We're really excited to bring you Season 3, Episode 12 of the Deep Dive. And this whole season, as you probably know, is all about games, gaming reviews, and more. It's been a fantastic ride so far exploring the gaming universe, and, well, we're just thrilled you're along for it. And, we have to give a huge shout out to the person working behind the scenes here, Misha St. Ors. Misha's our fantastic Adobe creator, a serious gamer, and the producer who really shaped this whole deep dive conversation for you. So today we're unpacking a truly epic journey. It's one that has pretty much defined generations of gamers, right? The history of PlayStation. Our main source for this is a brilliant piece called PlayStation's Epic Journey, A History Through the Years, and it's written by Misha St. Ors. So yeah, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
A lot of people might not realize this, but PlayStation was actually born from a partnership that kind of fell apart spectacularly. It seems wild now, but Sony was originally working with Nintendo. They were developing a CD-ROM add-on for the Super Nintendo, but then pretty much out of the blue, Nintendo backed out of the deal, which left Sony holding, a lot of R&D investment in the CD tech with nowhere to put it. Talk about drama.
Exactly. And instead of just, writing off that big investment in CD-ROMs, Sony made a really bold pivot. This was under Ken Kutaragi's leadership. He's often called the father of PlayStation, and rightly so. They decided, okay, we'll go it alone. And the strategic genius, the real masterstroke here, was fully embracing CDs. They were cheaper to produce than cartridges, held way more data. This wasn't just about the tech. It changed the economics of making and selling games. It immediately set them apart from the competition.
Right, and you saw the impact of that gamble almost straight away. The original PlayStation, the PS1, launched 94 in Japan, 95 here in North America and Europe. It wasn't just another console. It basically brought impressive 3D graphics into the mainstream home, made it accessible, captivating for, a whole new audience.
Its cultural impact was just massive. It really became a phenomenon. And that PS1 library just exploded with games that defined that era, showing off what CDs could do. Think about groundbreaking stuff like Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, the first Gran Turismo Revolutionary, or Resident Evil, Tekken 3. These weren't just hits. They were pushing creative limits. And the sales. Over 102 million units sold worldwide. That really cemented Sony's place, kind of unexpectedly, in the gaming world.
So, okay, you have this phenomenal, totally groundbreaking success with the PS1. The massive question then becomes, how on earth do you follow that up? That must have been just immense pressure on Sony heading towards the PlayStation 2. And, many people still argue the PS2, which launched in 2000, is arguably the greatest console ever made.
It's a very strong argument, yeah. And for some really good reasons. The PS2 wasn't just like a slightly better PS1. It innovated in a way that really broadened its appeal way beyond just dedicated gamers. The absolute key thing was the first console to build in a DVD player. Now, this sounds maybe standard now, but back then, it was huge. It transformed the console into a real home entertainment hub. Suddenly, for loads of families, the PS2 wasn't just for games. It was their first DVD player. That multifunctionality, that was probably the single biggest factor in its just unprecedented success. It helped make DVD technology mainstream.
Yeah, I remember that. It felt like getting two machines for the price of one. And the game library, just legendary. Over 3,800 titles, you said. That's just staggering.
It is. The sheer breadth and depth of games was immense. You had everything. Deep RPGs like Final Fantasy X, Kingdom Hearts, then huge action adventures. Grand Theft Auto III, which was massive. God of War, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. The PS2 genuinely had something for everyone. Its longevity was incredible, and those sales figures, over 155 million units sold. That makes it the best-selling home console in history, still. The PS2 wasn't just a console. For millions, it was like a cornerstone of their home entertainment for years. It really transcended gaming.
Trade in your boring job for a brilliant career using Adobe Creative Cloud. Start learning now with the free trial link in the description.
Okay, so after that kind of monumental industry-defining success, the pressure for the PlayStation 3 must have been absolutely off the charts. It launches in 2006 into a really competitive market, trying to follow up the legend that was the PS2.
It's immense pressure, yeah. And the PS3, technologically, it was a beast, no doubt about it. It had that powerful but notoriously complex cell broadband engine processor. And crucially, it had an integrated Blu-ray player. This was Sony betting big on Blu-ray, pushing it as the next physical media standard, cutting-edge stuff. But, and this is a big but, all that advanced tech meant it was expensive, really expensive at launch. And it came out later than its main rival. And here's a key takeaway, a real nugget. Sony kind of prioritized that custom, powerful hardware over making it easy for developers. The cell was just incredibly hard to code for initially. That high cost and development difficulty definitely hurt them in the early years. It was a lesson learned for sure.
Right, so despite all that power and ambition, the start was definitely challenging. But you really see Sony's perseverance here, don't you? They stuck with it. The PS3 did find its footing eventually.
Absolutely it did. Developers gradually got to grips with the cell, and man did it deliver some stunning exclusive games later in its life. You look at titles like Uncharted 2, Among Thieves, just breathtaking. The Last of Us, God of War 3, Heavy Rain. These became defining PS3 experiences, and the PS3 really pushed forward online gaming for PlayStation 2. It introduced the PlayStation Network, PSN, for online multiplayer digital game stores, and later that led to the PlayStation Plus subscription service. So, despite that rocky beginning and some tough lessons, the PS3 carved out its own successful legacy. Sold over 87 million units in the end, showed Sony's commitment, even through stumbles.
Yeah, and with those PS3 struggles, especially the difficulty for developers, fresh in their minds, Sony clearly learned some big lessons. When the PlayStation 4 came out in 2013, they made a point of returning to what they called a gaming-first focus. That felt like a very deliberate signal, right? Listening to gamers and developers.
It's exactly. The PS4 adopted a much more streamlined architecture. It was more like a PC internally, which was a direct strategic reaction to the PS3's complex cell processor. This made it so much easier and cheaper for developers to make games for the system. And because of that shift, that focus on developer friendliness, the PS4 was a massive hit, critically and commercially, right from the get-go. It really recaptured that momentum. PlayStation maybe lost a bit early in the PS3 era, reasserted their leadership.
And the games were just fantastic. It delivered incredible graphics, really beautiful visuals became the norm, and just a steady stream of acclaimed exclusives. We're talking huge titles like God of War, the 2018 one, Marvel Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, Ghost of Tsushima, just blockbuster after blockbuster, really pushing console capabilities.
And what's interesting there too, beyond just the power, were the features aimed at the player experience. Like they made social stuff much more central, that dedicated share button on the controller. That sounds small, but it made capturing and sharing gameplay clips or screenshots effortless, right from the console. That was huge for building communities, for games going viral. It just worked. So yeah, the PS4 really revitalized PlayStation's dominance, sold over 117 million units, set the stage perfectly for what came next.
Which brings us right up to date, pretty much, the latest chapter, the PlayStation 5. Launched late 2020. This console really felt like it was launching us into a new era, pushing boundaries again, but maybe with a more refined approach this time.
It absolutely does. The PS5 is packed with some genuinely cutting-edge features. They're designed to fundamentally change how games feel and play. First off, that custom SSD.
Yeah.
Lightning fast. It practically eliminates loading screens in many games. Spend more time playing. That alone changes game design possibilities, allowing for seamless worlds. Then you've got the DualSense controller. Revolutionary, really. That haptic feedback is incredibly detailed, and the adaptive triggers that fight back adds a whole new layer of immersion, makes you feel the game. And of course, under the hood, there's a powerful custom AMD GPU, enables stunning 4K visuals, ray tracing for realistic larding, high frame rates. Games look unbelievably good.
Yeah, and despite all that amazing tech, it definitely faced some unique hurdles right at launch. Those initial supply chain problems because of everything going on globally. Getting hold of a PS5 was, and honestly sometimes still is, a real challenge for a lot of people.
Trade in your boring job for a brilliant career using Adobe Creative Cloud. Start learning now with the free trial link in the description.
True, that launch was definitely complicated by factors outside Sony's control. But even with those supply issues, the PS5 has been steadily building a really impressive library. Games that truly show off what it can do. You've got Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales at launch, the incredible Demon's Souls remake, the visually stunning Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, the epic God of War Ragnarok. And Sony's not standing still. They're extending PS Plus tiers, exploring new things like the PlayStation VR 2 headset. The PS5 really represents their ongoing push for innovation and interactive entertainment. So if we kind of zoom out, connect all these dots to the bigger picture, what's really fascinating here is seeing how PlayStation evolved from, like you said, this defiant response to a failed partnership. It consistently pushed tech boundaries, graphics, sound, controllers. It fostered amazing game development, sometimes by challenging developers, right? And in doing that, it created these absolutely indelible memories for millions and millions of players across all these generations.
It's incredible, isn't it? to trace how each generation brought something new to the table. Unique innovations, iconic games, collectively shaping the whole gaming landscape we have today. From the PS1 kicking off mainstream 3D, to the PS2 becoming this entertainment hub, the PS3's tough but ultimately successful journey, the PS4's focused return to gaming dominance, and now the PS5 pushing tech frontiers. It's just been an epic run of adaptation and vision.
Which does raise a pretty important question, doesn't it? What does this whole journey tell us about how interactive entertainment itself evolves? PlayStation didn't just sell hardware, it sold experiences. And it played this huge role in defining what modern gaming is, showing how it could lead, not just follow, broader entertainment trends.
And there you have it, the incredible story, the saga of PlayStation, from those scrappy beginnings, born from that broken Nintendo deal, to where it is now an absolute cultural giant. That consistent drive to innovate, to adapt to a constantly changing market, it really does set their journey apart.
So as you reflect on this epic journey of PlayStation, Nova, and everyone listening, maybe consider this. In today's tech landscape, which is evolving so rapidly, with streaming, cloud gaming becoming bigger factors, what parts of PlayStation's past success, its DNA, do you think are the most crucial for it to hold on to maintain its influence and leadership for the next generation of gamers?
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive. I'm Misha, and let me send out a huge thank you for listening. If you want more content on gaming, education, or other fun stuff, head over and find me on YouTube. Link is in the show notes. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.